What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the compassionately cold-hearted Dr. Disaster, and Ubisoft never fails to find the worst way to frame a situation and make it clear that they are the enemies of gamers.
And I'm what some people call mentally retarded.
Agreed.
These idiots are still haunted by that comment from a year and a half ago or so when they told gamers that we need to get comfortable not owning our games. These are the same bozos who kicked off the Stop Killing Games movement in Europe after they decided to stop supporting The Crew and they took down the servers for it, rendering this online-only game basically dead and depriving anyone who bought it of any value from their purchase. And speaking of which, Ubisoft's CEO just responded to the Stop Killing Games controversy saying that support for all games cannot last forever.
I hate you!
Yeah, it's pretty hard to like Ubisoft these days, but that isn't even the controversy that I want to talk about today. It's not even the comment that Ubisoft apparently thinks microtransactions make for a better experience for gamers. That one had me rolling my eyes like crazy, but this one here is the worst. They're blaming gamers for the poor reception to their games. They've said that the fact that other game developers are making such good games is making us, the gamers, demand high quality. That is pretty self-incriminating though, if you ask me. That's basically admitting that they make dog crap. But rather than look inward and accept responsibility for making games that are a buggy mess when they release, or to accept responsibility for diving into controversial culture war stuff with their games, adding preachy progressive crap, they've decided instead to point the finger at gamers for being sensitive to the quality of games. Apparently we are to blame for the damage to their reputation.
Oh, I see, it's my fault, is it? Well, I must be punished then, mustn't I? You're a naughty boy, Faulty! Don't do it! What am I going to do?
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also, don't forget to follow me over on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster 1. I keep a list on there of games lousy with wokeness pinned to the account at all times for your reference. I've also started uploading some content onto Rumble too, so make sure that you follow Dr. Disaster over there. But let's take a peek at what these clowns at Ubisoft have said. The Ubisoft shareholder meeting was just the other day, and there has been a treasure trove of very stupid shit that has come out of this company as a result. We're going to look at it in this article here from Games Radar. Now, I don't know what is more delicious, the clueless and clumsy way that the Ubisoft CEO tacitly admits that they make shitty games and that the gaming crowd calling them out for doing a shitty job has cost them a ton of money, or the way that the game journalist who wrote this article whines at the end of it about Ubisoft admitting that we, the gamers, have power over the industry. Both of them are lovely to behold. But the article says here, the Ubisoft CEO says recent trends toward good games have resulted in an increase in online bashing that could potentially pose a business risk to the Assassin's Creed and Far Cry publisher. In other words, other companies make quality material which makes them, Ubisoft, look bad in comparison. Therefore, Ubisoft thinks this is a bad thing. But in a newly published investor presentation, Guillemot lays out what he sees as a high risk factor stemming from a highly competitive environment where players are very sensitive to the quality and content of games. The success of a video game depends as much on the efficiency of its development process as on its launch, he adds. Translation: Ubisoft wants to get by with spending as little time and effort cleaning up their games and making sure that they're actually playable as possible. Having to spend money to avoid producing slop is cutting into this company's bottom line because they are a terrible company that cannot efficiently make a damn thing, apparently. They have somewhere around 18,000 employees at the company and they still can't get it done. But never mind that a few of Ubisoft's former employees started Sandfall and they developed Claire Obscure Expedition 33, a clear Game of the Year contender with only around 30 employees on a fraction of the budget that Ubisoft gets for their games. Never mind all that, the truth is that Ubisoft is just being victimized by our insistence that games don't suck. But reading on, it says here, in a list of specific and material risks to which Ubisoft is exposed, Guillemot categorizes various factors, including failure in the development and launch of a video game, toxicity in games and services, and bashing, as either moderate or high-risk factors. Online bashing, specifically, is one of those rated as a high business risk. What they're saying here, without openly admitting it, is that gamers voicing their displeasure with the direction of Ubisoft has had a tremendous effect on their bottom line. Keeping our wallets closed and pointing out what we don't like is hammering Ubisoft. But Ubisoft is exposed to risks of damage to its reputation resulting from online bashing, understood as massive, sometimes virulent, and organized campaigns of criticism against its products, teams, or public statements, says Guillemot. These campaigns may occur on social media, content distribution platforms, or in certain specialized media, particularly following strategic decisions, technical issues affecting games, or statements perceived as controversial by certain segments of the public. There are two things that he gets wrong here. First of all, the so-called bashing is not a result of organized campaigns. Nobody tells us we have to bash Ubisoft. There isn't some cabal working against this company. That is an insane cope. It's actually just people looking at trailers and articles like this one and deciding we don't like what we hear. And second of all, the dude seems to be blaming people, criticizing his company for their failings rather than looking inward. But the article then says, the changing perception of the video game industry as a cultural and artistic medium is also leading to an increase in criticism based on ideological or societal considerations, sometimes to the detriment of technical or gameplay aspects. This trend increases the risk for publishers such as Ubisoft of being exposed to controversy relating to social, moral, or identity standards associated with their productions. Let's be perfectly honest, the last game that they made, Assassin's Creed Shadows, steered purposely into the culture war by adding a black samurai into feudal Japan. They did everything they could to avoid giving us what you would have expected, a traditional male Japanese samurai, because the game was intentionally woke as hell. So, if Ubisoft wants to avoid this criticism, then they need to trot their happy asses away from the culture war. But then the article ends with the writer getting pissy that Ubisoft is acknowledging how being woke affected their game. It says, the context around Guillemot's statements isn't explicitly clear, but it is implicitly very gross and stupid. The company's most recent tentpole release, Assassin's Creed Shadows, took unwarranted heat from a certain corner of the internet for its duo of black samurai and female protagonists. Aw, poor little fella, just can't stand the fact that Ubisoft is acknowledging that what we say has had an effect on their bottom line. They've tried super hard, these game journalists, to cast us as a vocal minority of online trolls, but Ubisoft isn't playing ball with that narrative. But I'm gonna leave it there. What do you think of what Ubisoft said here? Does anyone feel any pity for their plight? That us expecting good games is making it harder for them to get by with making turds? Drop your thoughts into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.